All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the virtual college exploration for all Illinois students, sponsored by the Illinois Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us this afternoon to learn a little bit more about the University of Vermont. Just a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on the bottom of your screen to type questions to our presenter at any time throughout this presentation. We are in webinar mode, so your camera and microphone are off. The panelists cannot see or hear you. And this is just one of many different sessions happening over the next 5 weeks, so be sure to check out IACAC.org for the full schedule in case you'd like to sit in any additional presentations. And lastly, this presentation is being recorded, so if you'd like to share it with anyone afterwards or again access the content again, you can do that at IACAC.org. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to our presenter. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Brown, and thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to learn more about the University of Vermont. And today, throughout our time together, we'll be talking about things that have to do with the University of Vermont, including admissions, financial aid, housing, extracurricular activities, and the City of Burlington as well, where the University of Vermont is located. So before we get started today, I'll just let you all know a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Ashley, and I am stationed in the Chicagoland area all year recruiting students for the University of Vermont. So after our session today, if you do have any questions, I will be your first and best contact for everything that you need to know in order to become a Catamount. So without further ado, I will go ahead and get our presentation started for today. All right, just one moment. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. The University of Vermont is located about 14 hours away from Chicago. That's if you're driving. If you're flying, we can get you there in about an hour and 45 minutes on a direct flight right out of O'Hare. So we are located in the beautiful part of the country called New England, and we are situated right there on the East Coast, surrounded by lots of other great cities and states as well. Right now, we've got about 10,000 undergraduate students on our campus, and 73% of our student body is from out of state, while 27% of our student body is native to Vermont. So a lot of the times, students on our campus really do enjoy the fact that our student body is a little bit smaller. Depending on who you're asking, some would consider us a smaller school, some would consider us a medium-sized school, but our average class size hovers just around 32 students, and you won't have a class larger than 175 students. So many students on our campus definitely tend to appreciate that and really do enjoy the tight-knit community that we have on campus and the relationships that they're able to build with their professors. We do offer over 100 different majors at the University of Vermont. Some of our more popular programs include psychology, business, the health sciences, so any students looking for nursing or pre-med, and also environmental studies and sciences as well. But you all can see that we operate out of about 7 different colleges and schools, and that's where all of our majors are housed. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our next slide here. Another distinction about the University of Vermont is our faculty. Professors at UVM are world-class scientists and scholars who are driven to make new discoveries. They really also love to teach. So at UVM, they get to do so through our faculty scholar model, which means that your professors will also be your advisors. And being that we're a land-grant institution, it means that we're dedicated to the education that improves the health of our society. And being guided by that mission, you're going to find a really strong sense of purpose within every aspect of the University of Vermont. Now, some of our distinctive qualities on the surface can appear to be a bit contradictory. For example, UVM is old. We were founded in 1791 as the fifth oldest institution in New England after Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, and Brown. However, we are new in the fact that we're constantly renewing our academic programs, building new infrastructure, and just really keeping up with the world around us. We're both big and small. Our size of 10,000 students, can be very big compared to many liberal arts colleges, but we're also much smaller than other national research institutions. It's also true that our location is both urban and open. Campus is right in the heart of Burlington, a small city known for great food, a thriving music scene, and also an emerging tech and business hub. We've got Lake Champlain and the Green and Adirondack Mountains right in our backyard as well. And we've also got the cosmopolitan French-speaking city of Montreal, just an hour-and-a-half drive north of Burlington. So there is so much to do outside of the classroom as well, and so many different unique features and facets that make up the University of Vermont. So as you all know, the college search process, the college application process, and even just looking for a school that's a right fit is a really, really big process. So, we really want you all to find an institution that's going to be a great fit for you, not only inside of the classroom, but also outside of the classroom, and an institution that's going to take care of you on a holistic level. So outside of the classroom at the University of Vermont, we offer over 200 registered student organizations for students to take part in. So, whether you are passionate about our environment and you want to join an environmental sciences club or a sustainability club, or if you'd like to join a cultural or religious affiliated organization as well, there's definitely no shortage of activities to be involved in. We also have Greek life as well. About 10% of our student body is Greek right now, so about 10% of those 10,000 students. So it's not a huge percentage of students who are Greek on campus, but there's definitely a presence for it if it's something that you are interested in. We also have Division I athletics. We have 18 men's and women's teams on campus as well. We also have a robust offering of club and intramural sports as well that students can take advantage of. So lots of fun things to get involved in outside of the classroom as well. All right, so learning by doing is another hallmark of a UVM education. Our students participate in internships, research, service learning, and other experiences that put knowledge to work and make it come to life. Students can find these opportunities through our Career Center, their professors, and their academic advisors. So on the right-hand side of the screen here, everyone, you can see some of our recent internships that companies that students have recently interned at. Let me tell you, this is definitely an abbreviated list. So, our internship list where students, are interning is definitely vast and wide. So this is just a very small list of where our students are getting that hands-on experience. A little bit earlier, I mentioned service learning, and you may ask yourself, what is service learning? And service learning is essentially an opportunity for students to put their learning into practice on behalf of the many communities connected to UVM. So students are able to partner with non-for-profits, local government entities, small businesses, and community associations to offer their technical and logistical design and clinical support to these partners, ultimately really just applying the tools of their respective disciplines to concrete real world issues. So we do have a lot of students who complete service learning courses in addition to their research and internship opportunities. All right, so I will talk a little bit about housing on this slide. So all students, all freshmen are required to live on campus for their first 2 years at the University of Vermont. And one of the great things about our housing program is that all students are required to live in living and learning communities. So what that means essentially is that students have a community where they're able to live and learn with students who have a same shared interest as them. So for example, you know, if a student is interested in majoring in psychology, but also very passionate about sustainability, they would have the opportunity to live in the sustainability living and learning community, live and learn with students, like I said, who have that same shared interest, and you all would also be taking a 1 credit hour course together as well, centered around the subject of sustainability. So it's a really great way to have a built-in community and make new friends. A little bit earlier in the presentation, I noted that 73% of our student body is from out of state. So with that, a lot of students are concerned, you know, well, I'm coming from a different place, you know, how exactly will I make friends on campus? And living and learning communities are a great way to do that. So when it comes time to complete the housing application, students will rank their preference of learning community in preference order, essentially. And then our housing and residential life office will do their best to get you ranked in your first place choice. So about 90% of our students are getting into their first choice learning community. So our housing and residential life office really does a great job at pairing students, you know, where they want to be. So in terms of just kind of like other things about what freshmen do have to do and do not have to do, or what they can and can't do. Freshmen cannot have cars on campus, but everything is within walking distance. You know, I normally tell students that it takes about 10 minutes to walk from one end of campus all the way to the very other end of campus. So, you know, we definitely have a very walkable campus, and you know, even in our downtown area, everything is very, very accessible. Okay, so this slide just outlines our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion on our campus. You can see on the left-hand side that we do operate out of 6 core values at the University of Vermont. So we not only encourage students to do so, but our faculty and staff also operate out of these 6 core values in all of our work and our work with students as well. So, you know, it does bleed over into our curriculum as well. You'll see on the bottom right-hand side that in order to graduate from the University of Vermont, you do have to take a course in diversity, so non-European studies, sustainability, quantitative reasoning, and foundational writing and information literacy. So, you know, we really do try to weave in those core values within our curriculum and also just outside of the classroom in general. You all will see at the top right, we have campus identity centers as well for students who are looking for particular community within the larger context of the University of Vermont. So we have our Mosaic Center for Students of Color, our PRISM Center, which is a center for LGBTQIA identifying students, our Interfaith Center, in addition to our Women and Gender Equity Center. So lots of great things going on at the University of Vermont for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we're just doing our best to really continue our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion campus-wide. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the City of Burlington on this slide. So as I said a little bit earlier, Burlington is about 14 hours away from Chicago if you are driving, but if you're flying, we can get you there pretty quick on a direct flight right out of O'Hare into BTV, Burlington International Airport, which is only about a 10-minute drive away from campus. So we have a really unique location in the New England area in that we are also located in close proximity to a lot of other larger cities as well. So we're only about 3 hours away from Boston. We are about 5 hours from New York City, but actually only a hop, skip, and a jump over across Lake Champlain to upstate New York. So upstate New York is very close to us. And, you know, a lot of students take advantage of travel opportunities on the weekends to get to some of these larger cities as well. So we do have an Amtrak train and a megabus that goes to these larger cities as well. So students definitely have taken advantage of those travel opportunities as well. So in terms of our downtown area where we're located, it's only about a 10-minute walk from campus. And we've got lots of shops and nightlife and restaurants that students are able to take advantage of. So, you know, a lot of the time students are, you can catch them on the weekend, maybe, you know, seeing a movie or catching a play at the live theater, or, you know, catching some live music at one of our music venues, or just really enjoying one of the many restaurants or cafes in our downtown area. So a lot of students have referred to our downtown area as being very charming. I would definitely agree with that. And it's a place that never gets old. So whether you are visiting, you know, the lake, which is also Lake Champlain, which is really close to downtown as well, or just hanging out in the city, you know, there's always something to do on campus and off campus as well. I always get asked as well, you know, about all 4 seasons in Burlington, you know, what's the weather like? And I always tell students, if you can survive a Chicago winter or an Illinois winter, you can definitely survive a Burlington winter. You know, we do get a lot of snow, but it's nothing that's unbearable. And it can also be a winter's paradise, to be honest, for students who ski. We have a lot of students who enjoy winter sports on campus. So if you are a skier, we actually have one of the largest ski and snowboard clubs in the nation on a university campus. So students get significantly discounted resort passes each year. And we also provide transportation to the mountains every weekend during snow season. So that is a big part of our culture at UVM and a big part of what students like to do on the weekends as well. So all in all, you know, Burlington is a very special place, and Burlington would not be the same without UVM, and UVM would not be the same without Burlington. I think that the energy of campus feeds the town, and the town feeds that energy back to campus with great internships, a thriving music scene, world-class restaurants, coffee houses, miles of trails, parks, and beaches. And like I said, everything is definitely within walking distance and very accessible as well. All right, so to summarize, UVM is a unique mix of a fully equipped land-grant institution that is old and new, big and small, where outstanding faculty love to teach, and where students from all over the world get experience towards finding success. And that's really however you define success. I think that's really important. So whether that is employment or whether that is graduate school, wherever your goals lead you, our students definitely have had strong outcomes, and you all are able to see that there on the left side of the screen. You know, you definitely get an exceptional return on your investment at the University of Vermont, with 93% of graduates being employed or continuing their education within 6 months of graduating. All right, so this is just a little bit about our admissions profile. So you can see that our average GPA that we've seen from students, you know, it hovers around a 3.7 grade point average. Historically, we've seen students submitting test scores around a minimum of a 28 on upwards into a 33. That's kind of the average middle 50% of test scores that we see from students. However, this year we are test optional, and I'm going to be touching on that you know, a little bit later, but just to give you a little bit of a snapshot of averages of what we're seeing from students, that is listed here. And I think it's really important as well, in the top left, you know, we really want to reiterate that we have a holistic review of each applicant. So that means that we are going to be looking at everything: your letter of recommendation, your list of activities, your transcript, not only your grade point average, but the types of classes that you've taken and the rigor of those classes as well. You know, and your optional essay, all of that will definitely be, you know, a part of how we will be making a decision on your admissions application. So I will actually go a little bit further into the application process now, and I will go ahead and pull up our website to give you a little bit more information as to how you can apply. All right. So the University of Vermont, we have two ways that you can apply. So you can apply either on the coalition application or the common application. We don't have an application that is exclusive to the University of Vermont. Feel free to apply either way. We really don't even have a preference as to how students apply either. So whatever application is most comfortable for you is the one that we want you to complete. There is a $55 application fee that goes along with the application as well. Minimum entrance requirements you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen here. We typically look for students to have 4 years of English, 3 years mathematics, 2 years of the same foreign language, in addition to 3 years of a natural or physical science, in addition to 3 years of a social science. So for some of our majors, we do look for more entrance requirements. So for example, if you're applying to the College of Business, we look for you to have a 4th year math, and if that is pre-calculus, that's great, but we normally like to see calculus. So that's just an example of an additional admission requirement that we look for. But if you're interested in learning more about the college, school, and specific requirements, you can definitely check out our course catalog online, and it will give you all of that information. All right, so again, the UVM student profile, we just talked about that. Average GPA that we see for our first year students hovers around that 3.7. Historically, we've seen an ACT of a 28 to a 33, and we've got some SAT equivalencies there as well. Okay, in terms of financial aid, students are considered automatically for merit-based scholarships upon being admitted to the university, so there's no separate scholarship application that you will need to complete. So you all can see that 87% of UVM undergraduates do receive some sort of scholarship funding to attend UVM. So those scholarships, again, are going to range from $8,000 and going upwards into around $20,000. So some really robust offerings for students in the way of scholarships, and those being merit-based. So once you are admitted to the university, you will receive an acceptance notification, and you will also receive your merit-based scholarship award notification at the same time that you receive your acceptance. Okay, so our application requirements, what we need to see within your application portfolio, we need your high school transcript, we need those first quarter grades, so senior year for early action candidates, mid-year grades for our regular decision candidates, one letter of recommendation, and I'd like to reiterate about the letter of recommendation, don't feel pressured to send in more than one. We sometimes have students who choose to send in multiple, but students won't be looked at more favorably by the admission committee if you send in multiple opposed to just sending in one. So feel free to just send in that one very strong, character reference, one that can speak to your work ethic and who you are as a student, and also maybe who you are outside the classroom as well. So that can come from a coach or a teacher or someone who you've worked with in the community, or a guidance counselor, just someone who knows you pretty well. So those are all of the things that we need. I just mentioned a little bit earlier about early action and regular decision. Those are two ways that you can apply. Our early action deadline is November 1st, while our regular decision deadline is January 15th. Again, no preference of when you apply, really as long as you apply is really what we care about there, okay? I mentioned earlier in the presentation that we are test optional this year. So you are not required to send in standardized test scores. but you are welcome to do so if you feel that they would contribute to your overall academic record. However, the vast majority of students are going to be looked at on an even level playing field, and we're going to be taking different metrics into account to make that admission decision. For example, not only looking at your transcript and your grade point average, but also taking a look at the types of classes you've taken and the rigor of those classes as well. So some things will be weighed a little bit more heavily, than a test score if a student chooses to submit that. However, like I said, students are not required to submit testing for this admission cycle. Okay, so within our application, we also have the opportunity for students to submit an optional essay. And even though it is optional, I always strongly encourage students to complete it because it really helps us to get a snapshot of who you are outside of the classroom and outside of your transcript and your GPA. Who are you more so as a student holistically? So these are the 5 questions that we have listed here for this recruitment cycle. I'll tell you, number 2 has definitely been the most popular, which Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor, real or imagined, best describes you. A little fun fact, if you guys didn't know, Ben & Jerry's ice cream was founded in Vermont. It is also currently headquartered in Vermont. And I was talking a little bit about our downtown area a little bit earlier in the presentation. We actually have a really big flagship Ben & Jerry's store right in the heart of downtown Burlington as well. So yes, that is kind of the origin of where that question comes from. But yes, lots of fun questions that kind of just help you to think outside of the box. And like I said, really help us to get a snapshot of who you are as a student. So if you are able, please do submit that optional essay and it will help to just make your application a little bit more holistic there, okay? All right, so this is a little bit about submitting credit. So whether that be AP, IB, or dual enrollment credit, we definitely do take all of that at the University of Vermont. So for advanced placement, we typically look for a score of 4 or 5 in most subject areas. A score of 3 is accepted in some areas. So we do have a full AP equivalency chart on our website that students are able to take a look at if they are more interested in how credits will transfer. Same with International Baccalaureate. We typically look for a score of 5 or greater on higher level IB exams. So we also have an IB guide, equivalency guide on our website as well for students who are interested in learning more about that. We also have dual enrollment. We accept dual enrollment credits typically if a student is at a regionally accredited degree granting college or university and earn a C or better in that class. We will take that transcript or that grade for credit. So you will go ahead and submit that, whenever you have that transcript available, and we will go ahead and transfer that credit over for you. So that's kind of the application process in a nutshell, very, very straightforward. Like I said, our application opened up on August 1st. So our application is open now. 2 ways to apply: early action or regular decision. Early action deadline is going to be November 1st. Regular decision application deadline is going to be January 15th. And students find out relatively quickly if they've been admitted or not. So if you are applying by November 1st, you'll find out in the middle of December if you've been admitted. If you're applying regular decision with that January 15th deadline, you will find out in mid-February if you've been admitted or not. So yes, that is the application process. I'll talk a little bit about study abroad in our honors college as well, and then I'll be able to field any questions that anyone may have. So if students are interested in the honors college, they will be automatically considered for that upon applying to the University of Vermont. So there's no separate application that you'll need to complete in order to be considered for the honors college. So Typically, we are taking the top 7 to 10% of our applicants and offering them admission into the Honors College. So if for some reason a student is not offered honors admission into the Honors College in their freshman year, you'd be able to come to the University of Vermont for your freshman year, earn a 3.4 grade point average, and reapply for admission at the end of your freshman year. So we do have a number of students who actually do take that route to be admitted into the Honors College. So it's a very robust program. You know, students who are in the Honors College really do enjoy it. It is not a very competitive atmosphere at all. It's very collaborative. So students definitely enjoy that aspect of it as well. And there's also an honors living and learning community too. So if students would like to live and learn with other students who are in the Honors College, there's definitely an opportunity for that, but it is not required. A little bit about study abroad. We do have a robust study abroad program for students. About 35% of our student body is studying abroad at this point in time. So we have a number of different places across the globe where you can travel to and study for a semester or even a full year. So one of the more popular ways that students study abroad is through our student exchange program. So essentially, you would be taking the place of a student at their institution, at their country, and then they would come and take your place at the University of Vermont for either a semester or a full year. So we have that option available. We also have short-term study abroad as well. So whether you are going, you know, for a 6-week period, or if you're going like over your spring break or winter break, we also have some of those opportunities available as well. And we also have opportunities available for students who maybe want to go somewhere off the beaten path, or maybe to a place where the University of Vermont may not have a particular partnership with the university or you know, an entity or an institution within that particular country. We do have third-party organizations who we've partnered with to be able to help your study abroad dreams come true. So we definitely do work with some external organizations, if need be, in order to enable students to go wherever they want to go to study abroad. So some of our hotspots for our study abroad include South America, South Africa, Spain, let's see, Italy is also a big one, London. So yeah, so lots of different places where students are able to go and expand their horizons and be enriched in another country to expand their education. Okay, are there any questions at this point in time that I can answer for anyone? It doesn't look like we have any questions in the Q&A chat at this point in time. Okay, let's see. No questions. Okay. All right. Well, that does conclude my presentation for today. I want to thank you all so much again for being here and learning more about the University of Vermont. And as I said at the beginning of the session today, my name is Ashley Brown, and I work with all students from the not only the Illinois region, but also the greater Midwest region as well. So if you have any questions after today, I'm definitely your first and best contact, and all of my information can be found on the website at www.uvm.edu. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Ashley. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. Just to let you know, when you close this window, there is a quick 4-question survey that will pop up. We do ask that you complete that if possible, just to give us feedback on our program. And then, as mentioned at the beginning of this session, sessions like this will be taking place over the next 5 weeks. So feel free to sign up for additional sessions at www.iacac.org. And then lastly, a recording of this session is also available on that same website, iacac.org, if you'd like to access this information again. Thank you so much, and everybody have a wonderful afternoon.